Yo, what is going on, guys? This is Jacked White Joe here today. Today we're coming at you with something a little bit different. So as you guys are obviously aware, like DDD is mainly known right now for just the pure variant. It's obviously the best way to play the deck competitively, as it can run essentially quite a bit of non-engine, right? I mean, my build's got room for like 12 hand traps. I'm sure everyone else's build does as well. That's why it thrives so well in a competitive scene. And it does one plus card combos. Is fully beneficiary off 3+ combos, but it can still go off with a 1 card combo, and that's why it just pulls the best. It's the best deck to pull through hand traps and interruptions this format for sure. Now when it comes to my roots, so as you guys know, like my roots where I started was the Synchro variant, right? And it was the best deck up until we got the support for the deck and Battles of Chaos, right? So the Synchro build, if you guys are like the more OG guys, you guys were around for more of it, that's what I primarily was from. That's where I came up with all these crazy combos and random stuff, and I've got more of that today. So yeah, I labbed this deck a little bit, probably for like just like an evening, and the stuff I came up with kind of like blew my own mind. What I found about DD over time, like ever since Virtual World kind of came out, is that what the Synchro variant does really well is taking form of like the current meta Synchro decks, doing what they do, but ending on a better board. They're not essentially better because they're not like, it's a lot more glass cannon and they need more combo pieces, but they can kind of mirror what that deck can do and also put on a lot more on an M board, like almost double its M board, which is really cool. So I took that in consideration, was like, So I just kind of tested around the deck and came up with something really, really neat. And the M board is insane. Along with the support we got in the Battles of Chaos, that support really works for our deck too. Not all of it, of course, but some of it's really, really nice. So again, this isn't like a hybrid build. Like a lot of people might know, like, oh, there's like hybrid variants and stuff, right? Personally, so I tried doing like a hybrid thing. Like kind of like started when the new support came out. Since I'm like a synchro based person with this deck initially, I started like doing hybrid stuff, and I think that's where the idea came from. And then I came back after playing the pure for so long. I came back to trying hybrid. I'm like, this deck is so pointless. Like the hybrid, like just it doesn't do anything. Like literally, it's like, okay, like for the hand I have, I'm basically just opting to go for the pure combos. You know what I mean? So I just trashed the hybrid build out. I was like, I'm not doing this. And I went to Synchro, and Synchro can actually still do its own thing very well. And I found like so many cool routes you can go. There's like 3 different routes you can go when you combo. There's so many cool tech cards. Now there is no room for like really non-engine. There is, but you want consistency because primarily this deck's objective is to have 3 to 4 combo pieces in hand. So for this format, this is obviously just like if you want to go have fun, like have like a casual event, and you know people aren't like running like Scythe Lock, like you're basically safe if people aren't running Scythe Lock because this deck won't have a problem outside of the Scythe Lock stuff. It's really fun. Honestly, I had so much fun just testing with this lately, and I think you guys are gonna really enjoy it. So I'm gonna try bring this to a couple of locals and see how it does. I'll probably teeter-totter a bit every now and then, but I think this one I'm gonna go for. And yeah, I'm sure you guys want to see the list. I'm not gonna take this to any big events. Obviously, I'm just kind of asking to die at that point, just because of all the decks, the meta decks in the format, right? But again, if you guys want to take this to like a local scene, for sure give it a try because this is really fun. And for any of you new guys that are like just getting into DDs and are on my channel, give this a shot too. It can actually really give you a better insight on the deck, where it's primarily from, and can just help you learn even more combos through that, and really shows you what the deck's potential is like, right? Because DDDs can do like literally anything. It's so cool, and this is definitely the most fun variant of the deck. And I'll show you some of the combos after I do the deck profile. And yeah, without any more talking of me, let's just get right into this deck profile. I think you guys want to see it, so I'll see you on my new cool playmat. I'll see you there. Okay guys, so let's jump into the deck profile. Now before I get into it, I just want to give another big shout out to my man Andrew for sending me over this mat. This mat is a dream come true, and it just looks amazing, especially for the videos. First deck profile we're actually filming on this mat, so very hyped about that. The colors are just popping on this, man. So anyways, before I jump into this, guys, about this deck, yeah, if you, like, a lot of you guys that came from, like, just as of recent that may have just known the deck for just being pure and stuff like that, right? you guys are probably just familiar with the fact that the deck can do like turbo 4 card, or turbo ranked 4 and all that stuff, like the way it is now, right? The competitive version of the deck. Knowing this version of the deck, I think really gives you a proper insight on like different aspects the deck can take, right? So it really gives you like proper knowledge on the deck as well, because beforehand this was the best way to play the deck. So when you get to learn like another variant of the deck, it can really give you access and idea of like another insight on how to play the deck, right? And I think that's really good knowledge to know. So that's kind of why I'm doing this profile. But at the same time, Battles of Chaos kind of made this deck kind of nutty at the same time. So this deck, like for like, don't take it to a YCS and stuff, but when it comes to like a local scene, I for sure think you can take a locals with this, because the deck is glass cannon, but not so much at the same time. Basically, like if you get hand trap once, and the thing is too, so this is the other thing. A lot of people know this deck right now, and they're all prepared. They've all studied for what the deck is currently in the meta. And what I mean by that is people know this deck as Turbo Rank 4, Turbo Gilgamesh, stuff like that. So they don't know where to hit this deck. So when you start setting up, they're going to see, oh, Kepler, Ogate, like whatever. They're going to try and hit certain cards. And then when you start doing different plays, they're going to think, what is he doing? They don't know what you're doing, and they might think you're doing something wrong or whatever, but you're actually playing the Synchro build. They don't realize that, because a lot of people now don't understand that this is another way you can play the deck. And I think that's one of the slight advantages this deck actually holds with regards to the meta. And the other thing too is the reason why I think this deck can like kind of compete is because a deck like Drytron, like there's a lot of decks right now that straight up don't play like hand traps, and just play stuff like a single set of droplets and rely on that. Like Drytron is that right now, from what I've realized, from what I've noticed. Sorry, I kind of analyzed a couple Drytron lists that topped and was like, you know what, I think we can give this deck a shot, because Drytron decks basically play like a 45 plus card deck, and our reliance going second on seeing droplets, and they still somehow do pretty good. So I figured, you know what, at a locals level, this can definitely perform. So yeah. So I think this deck definitely has a shot with regards to, not against like, you don't want to, if your locals is plagued with like Scythe Lock, don't bother. But like if it's not, I think this deck has a good chance against any other deck in the meta, pretty much. Even against the pure deck, because you're going to really know how to play against it, right? So yeah. So let's jump right into this, guys. So we're starting off 3 Kepler. So Kepler is very standard. It's just Stratos. And I'm going to explain the card choices a little bit more, because this is Synchro. It's not just, you know what I mean? This isn't just the variant that everyone knows. So sorry, guys. Just to make sure my thing was still recording. It died before I started recording this. So basically, before... Yeah, you guys know, like, this is still a 3 of, right? It's still Stratos. It still does the same things it does in the Pure. The only difference is you don't use it for its scale. Really, I actually have a couple times to use it for its scale in Pendulum Summon back to Ragnarok. That's literally all it ever comes up for. And the other thing, too, is that you don't use... The effect of bounce comes up a lot in Pure. It does not come up in the Synchro. Like, I've never actually used the effect to bounce a card. Maybe sometimes for the Ragnarok to bring it back out. I think I've done that once in the Synchro, but that's literally it. Now going to the slimes, are going 3-2. So I usually, in the Synchro, I usually play this at 3 because it's a main arterial combo piece. But I decided to go for 2 just for the deck space. And the reason why I went with 2 is because the deck has so much draw power and access to this card already that when I see multiples of this card, I'd never want to see multiples of this card, to be honest. I want it in my hand, but I have so many cards to give me access, and you know what I mean? So I decided to just cut this down to 2 for just space's sake. And it's been working pretty good. So I actually like it at 2. Europrince Starfoil and North American Starfoil. So the cool thing is that this one's actually a lot more foiling than the North American. And it's darker, so it actually just looks like a super rare. It's kind of cool. Yeah, I picked these up a while ago in this back in August, I think. I got the set for 13 shipped, so pretty nice. And then these, yeah, Swirl Slime is still the heart and soul of this deck. It still gets it's still the main starter of your plays. You need this to start your plays. It does what the deck needs to do. It's still the best combo piece in the deck. Tie between like you need Lamia, right? But this does more, right? By getting your stuff out and fusion summoning. You need to start off with fusion in the Synchro variant, right? So yeah. Oh yeah, these are like $20 too, something like that. It's kind of cool. I was looking at the prices today. So 3 DD Lamia and 2 DD Ghost for the tuners. Now, again, this is Synchro, so we need to max out our tuners. And the reason why we play 5 is because we're playing a 40-card deck. In theory, we should see at least 1 in our opening hands. That's why go to the number 5. Now Ghost is really good in fueling your graveyard because it's not once per turn. So if you open this, you can like literally fuel like another Swirl Slime and another Necro and another Lammy in one turn. And then whenever it's banished, not once per turn, it recycles a banished card back to graveyard, which is really nice. That's not once per turn. So basically, a lure in a late game is extremely good if you have this, which happens sometimes. Get your necessary combo pieces back. If you've allured twice, you can just banish this, put a card that you wanted in your hand initially in graveyard, puts it back in, and yeah, Ghost is really cool. And it's part of your you really want to summon this off Hulk, if anything too. So yeah, it's the main card you're summoning off Hulk over Lammy in this variant, anyways. Yeah, and then 3 Lammy. I don't have to explain it. Like in the pure, you only play 1 because all it does is extend, and then it's for the 1-card combo as well with Gate. Just gives you ease of access to that, and then it just climbs you into Gilgamesh, right? And sometimes makes the Sig free, but in this deck, no, you need it at 3. Like it's weird how when you go from one variant to the other, this just automatically becomes like one of the literally the best combo piece in the deck next to Swirl. Hard to say between those two. So moving on to the Pendulum level 4s, Griffin, 3 Copernicus. These are actually all part of your arterial combos. Griffin, now in the pure, you obviously use him for all his effects. The only thing you use him for in this build is he's really, you still want him at 3 because he gets you that one piece you might be missing. Or if you already have your pieces, what he does is you always summon him back from graveyard. So the way it works is you always get him back from graveyard. That's how you want to do it in the Synchro. And when he comes back from grave, you're either grabbing the piece, but if you already have all the pieces you need, you can just grab the trap, right? I mean, I think it's pretty obvious I'm playing the trap at this point. That's why I'm playing him at 3. Essentially, but essentially he also just helps fix your give you the full combo if you need it, right? If you're missing a Lammy or something, it's really nice to give ease of access to those cards. And then Copernicus is still a standard 3 of. You can play him at 2 if you want, and just bump Necro to 3. It's up to you. Yeah, because you don't play the rank 4s, right? But again, he's just foolish for any card. That's why I kept him at 3 and put Necro down to 2. Oh, sorry. There's something. Yeah, oh well, I almost dropped something off the table. Here's my water. Okay, so going on here. The last DD card is Double Ragnarok. So Ragnarok is played at 2 in this deck because you actually want to see this in your hand. It's either a 2 of or a 3 of in the Synchro, it's up to you. When there's a deck like Tri-Brigade, when Tri-Brigade was around, this was for sure a 3 of because what you do is you reveal the Swirl. If they don't have a way to stop the Swirl like the Appaloosa, you would just fusion summon using the Ragnarok and it immediately shut out the Revolt. So for decks like that, it's really good. But again, it just puts the High King. It's your main access to the High King, other than the Necro Slime. So if you want to start out your plays with an instant spell and trap negation, this goes to grave and you just summon this back. It climbs more, right? Ragnarok's just great. And then the other thing too is that it's nice to have them in your hand as a 2-of because it's just the extender, right? So it acts as an extender. Basically, the Synchro does not play around Nib, it plays into Nib. So what happens is when you play into it, if you have Ragnarok in scale, you use Lamia to revive itself. Ragnarok summons back one of your DD cards, and then you make Hulk with the token and the Lamia. Bring out a tuner, then you can actually have like 2 forms of interruption that way. So Ragnarok's really really clutch for that purpose. So that's it for the DD cards, and then the last monster I'm playing is Swordsoul of Taya. So you're probably like, yo Migs, yo my guy, like what are you doing, bro? Like why are you playing this, bro? And like, so the reason I'm playing Taya is because, well, the cards in my extra deck, so this kind of spoils some stuff, but the reason I play Taya is mainly for a go second purpose. So it helps me push when I'm going second to break boards. It's more of like a cool card I'm trying out, but it really gives me like that ease of access because even though it's considered a brick, it's really not a brick, and I actually don't mind opening this card because if I don't have like a normal summon or something, this is just used as a Taya is just used as a fodder for Cross Sheep. It's like my normal summon fodder for Cross Sheep. And then what I do after is that I use Cross Sheep to revive this back. And then Taya, I can use the effect to get rid of Worm card engrave and then just summon a Shishao. So it works like that too. So, but it's mainly there for one of the cards in my extra. I just summon it on going second, and it just adds another push factor to the deck. So it's kind of like a new card I'm trying out, but I actually really like it in the deck. Like I said, it's just Cross Sheep material at worst, and yeah, it's just a nice card to have access for my the card in my extra deck. I'll get into it over when I get to there, but yeah. So yeah, Taya. Going on to the spells, so we're going, triple gate, 1 Swamp King. This is standard. You can play 2 Swamp King if you want. I always say this in the Synchro. You can always play 2 Swamp because there is an issue if you don't have access to the fusion right away. You can really hinder your own plays. So yeah, you can go ahead, give 2 Swamp King a try. I think it's kind of a brick, but at the same time, it eliminates it helps eliminate the factor of not opening a Swirl Slime. But it's 100% up to you. Whatever you want to do. I won't judge you for anything you do to this deck, honestly. So now unfortunately, this is at 1. I don't know why. So 3 Allure, 3 Where Art Thou, Upstart, Into the Void. This is what we're playing for draw cards. Like I said, this is a Glass Cannon deck. It's 3 to 4 card combo pieces. We aim to win the dice roll, and if we don't win the dice roll, we still do a great job pushing through boards as long as we're not scythe locked. So yeah, this is the theory behind it. Just drill the combo pieces. This gives you your most important combo piece in the deck. You play this in the Synchro because it gets you Lamia or Necro Slime, which you need. And again, that's why I put Necro to 2s, because I can just search this. Allure is amazing in the Synchro. It's not good in the Pure, but in the Synchro, it's just so good because you can afford to banish all your cards. It just digs your deck. Games 2 and 3, you draw into your... again, like, you need more reactive cards, so it's not... That doesn't come up too much. Games 2 and 3 where you draw into, like, the evenlies and stuff. It's a lot better in those formats, but this draws into like stuff you might need, right? But going first, very good at thinning your deck out, getting your pieces. 38 card deck, and then the 1 Desires. I actually see this card a decent amount of times when I was testing, just because I'm playing a 38 card deck and so much draw power. So Desires isn't the worst at 1 in this deck, and to be honest, I don't have to draw into 2 Desires anymore, which is kind of nice, or even just 1. So yeah, just having the 1's fine. So yeah, so that's it for this. That actually is not it for the spells, sorry. So last one is 1 for 1. 1 for 1's the, I don't have to explain this, like literally. It's just as good in this as the Pure. Actually, you know what? The Pure, actually, this is a 1-card combo in the Pure, so this isn't necessarily the 1-card combo in the Synchro. It's actually better in the Pure, but it's good regardless. It doesn't matter. And then I'm going to go with 2 answers to hand traps. So as you guys know, the average is about 12 to 21 hand traps right now in the main, depending on your deck count. We'll say like 12, 15 for like safety's sake. Now I sold my tactics, and I just didn't bother grabbing my brother's tactics just to use for this video. I think this is fine, honestly, because I'm kind of like a sacky guy, and I kind of draw these cards a lot. I don't know why, but these 2 I glue to my hand. Now, Call By is just, you kind of need in the Synchro because it's Glass Cannon, and it's really good defensively, right? And going second is pretty good too to stop like certain cards. And if you get Scythe locked, I mean, they usually have an answer, but you can have at least an answer, worst case scenario. Instant Fusion, there's no like hiding what I'm playing here. I mean, for you guys have been watching my video for a while, Restrict is such a good card in this deck. Basically, it's free, right? So pay 1,000, summon it. That's the only thing that's not free. You get Restrict, which is now another body. It's a level 1, so that means this synergizes with the Where Art Thou. So if you special this, you go Where Art Thou, it gives you a free Kepler that's protected from Ash or Imperm, or not Imperm, Ash or Veiler from Restrict, right? Which is really cool. And then you don't burn as well from the Where Art Thou because you normal summoned it, right? So there's some really cool interactions. And the other really nice thing about this too is that if you summon off Instant Fusion, you can link it off, go into a Cross Sheep. I think you guys know I'm playing Cross Sheep too. You go into Cross Sheep, and then when you summon back, you can actually summon this thing back. And if you already used the turn to suck up a hand trap, you can summon it back, and then it can suck up another card if you really need to. But now it's permanently on board. And this card as an interruption is insane. It's such a good form of interruption. It puts a lot of pressure going second against boards too, because it just sucks up the card and negates its effects. It's a really strong card. So yeah, Instant Fusion is like one of my favorite cards to play in this deck, with the Millennium Eyes for sure. So yeah, and then so that's 38 cards. Let's go to the 40. Headhunt, Swordsoul, Blackout. So sorry, 1 second. Okay, so I'm playing Blackout and Headhunt. Now these are the 2 searchable traps, and they're both good to draw. Both of these are just amazing to draw because you access your combo pieces, either access the DD cards or the Swordsoul cards naturally, which is kind of crazy because, and the card that you naturally access in the deck too, essentially, is the level 10, like without having to go into anything, is the level 10. And Blackout works the best with the level 10 because it can trigger the chaining as well, which is crazy, right? So Headhunt, Blackout, really good cards. Like I said, if you hard draw them, especially if you hard draw the Blackout and you have like the combo to grab Headhunt, you end on like your full combo plus Blackout Headhunt. It's crazy. It's actually crazy. So I'll demonstrate these combos later on and explain like more like when I go on. So yeah, that's it for the main deck, guys. This is a 40 card deck. Yeah, like not much to say about it, right? Like there's no hand traps, no I mean if you have tactics, play it. I don't have tax anymore because I sold it after it just wasn't necessary in the format. While it was still like $300 for the playset because I had the Rise of the Duelist first ed, so I was like, I'll just get rid of these. Yeah, I got rid of them, and basically, if you want to play them, you can cut Into the Void, the Into the Void and the Upstart if you want, and just go like play 2 and then find another card to cut if you really want. You can maybe go to like maybe put Griffin to 2. It's up to you, but I like having Griffin because he's part of your arterial combo piece. In the new list anyways. So yeah. So it's up to you. If you have talents, play it in the main. But like I said, I don't have it, so I decided not to play it. Right, so that brings me on to the extra deck. So going on the extra deck, no surprise here. We know I was playing this. Yeah, double Genghis, big Genghis, restrict. The ratios are still the exact same in the Synchro. You just don't play D-Arc. You can play D-Arc, but I just don't have the room. I really don't have to explain these at all. At this point, for sure, I don't. They serve the same purpose as when you're playing the. They serve the same purpose. Actually, no, they serve the same purpose, but you're not using these for the rank 6. You're using these for Synchro material. Going to the level 7, or you're going to like a level 8. Yeah, they use. You don't go for 2 in 1 turn ever, unless you really need to. So yeah, we're doing that for the Synchros. Now for the level 7s. So that's where I was kind of getting at. So Alexander, you have to play in the Synchro, of course. And Yazi's the other level 7 we're playing. Now, Yazi is really cool. It's what gives us access to the Swordsoul combo. So the cool thing is, this is why I'm playing Tai, is because I have ease of access to the Yazi. So my deck can easily access Yazi. And what I can do is go in second is put another push factor on the board. So after I've done some stuff, I can go into Yazi. Yazi effect, pop. And then special summons Taya. Taya banishes this, and then summons the Shishao, and then Shishao can negate a card. I'm not going to bother adding Blackout, obviously, right? I probably sided out going second anyways, if that's the case. But I just summoned Shishao. Shishao's now another form of negation if this gets through, and I can just climb my way, right? So it really works for another push factor in the deck, and that's why I'm trying out the Taya. So the Yazi, but the Yazi is just there because it gives me access to the Swordsoul stuff. So yeah, that's why I'm playing it. It works really nice through combo testing, and like I said, I haven't like tested this in actual competitive scene or like online or anything. I've just been like I said, I just labbed it for like an evening, but I have a lot of experience playing the Synchro build, so it just works out good. I'm gonna test this out at locals at some point, pretty soon, anyways. So yeah, that's it for the level 7s. I put this Taya back. Going on to level 8s, Siegfried, Crystal Wing, Shishao. So these two stay the same. These are still your boss monsters for when you're going for the DD route. And then Shishao, bro. Shishao, chill out, bro. We're playing Shishao. So Shishao's nice. The cool thing about this deck is that when you can either go for the DD route, and this is what I'm saying. So if you can go. Basically what happens, if you can go Griffin to add the Headhunt, and you have your full combo, then you go for this style of play, where you go for that the old full combo, where you go like Siegfried, the Hulk, and the other Synchro. Now, if you don't have access to it, you actually start going for the Yazi and the Shishao play, which is the Swordsoul route, plus some with the Hulk play. So it's pretty cool. So you have different options, right? And that's what I really like about this deck, is that you can go different options. You can do different things. And when I was just labbing with it, it's just what worked, right? So yeah, because either way, you're going to end on a trap, right? And sometimes you can end on 2 traps. It depends on what your open is, right? So yeah. I like having this variety, and the Shishao, it just really opens up some unique stuff for the deck, right? So going on here, Formula is the card we're summoning off of Hulk, right? So I don't have to explain that. Baron and Chen Ying. So yeah, these two are nuts in this deck, especially now. The Chen Ying's for sure in here because of the Shishao play, where I can add the Blackout. And the cool thing is, like I said, when the stuff first came out, I tested with this card for a bit and realized how good it was in the deck. And like when Bode first came out, and it's because the reason why it's because it doesn't care about the timing a card's banished, and that's crazy because your Hulk, you can time your Hulk to tag itself out, and then the Hulk tagging itself out triggers Chenying. And there's so many cards that work in tandem with Chenying in this deck, like on follow up and Allure, which actually comes up a lot. If you have Chenying out still, you go Allure, you draw 2, you basically plus, and then you just go Chenying after you banish the card. Your Necro Slime triggers it, your Swirl Slime triggers it, which a lot of that happens on follow-up. Your Fusion Spell can trigger it on follow-up. And the other thing too is Blackout triggers it, right? Blackout can target, destroy the Chenying, and then you can just banish the card when it would be destroyed, right? Because if it's attempting to destroy it, you just banish a card from the graveyard, and then that triggers the Chenying's effect because a card was banished. So yeah, and then the Baron I don't really have to explain, right? So yeah, so that's all I got to say about that. The Chenying is probably like the best card now in the extra deck for sure. Definitely my favorite card. Now I was trying out with the other. I tried the other level 10 for a bit. The one that came out of Battles of Chaos. It really doesn't work unless you're playing like actual Swordsoul, where you summon the level 6 and go from there. It's only the only way it really works very like consistently in the deck. Honestly, it just didn't work, so I just decided to put it out. It was just bad, to be honest. Then for links, Cross Sheep, Hulk, Boral Sword. Yeah, this is standard. This isn't standard, but it's for me it is. It's great. This one. So in the YCS that I actually. In the first remote duel YCS when I played this deck, when I went 28th place on day 1, this card going second won me, I'd say about 33% of my games or so going second, because literally like all you do is like bait stuff out, and then it's like, okay, you go Hulk, summon stuff, link them off, go Boral Sword, and then you just kill them. That's literally what happens. So Boral Sword I think is like an absolute necessity in this deck. And then Hulk and Cross Sheep, I'll explain, like you need these for the Synchro deck, which you'll see in the combo, right? So yeah, so guys, that wraps up the deck profile. I'm not going to go over the side because I don't have a side built for this deck yet. The side can be literally whatever you want. It's up to you, right? Like I have my side decks posted for the, like in my last dueling book video and stuff, for the, but the current meta is, right, when I'm playing my peer, it's basically like the same idea, right? You just want to put in a bunch of hand traps and stuff. Whatever it's beneficial for your locals, because I said you're just going to bring this to a local style event. Just side for that, and yeah, just whatever it might be, right? So yeah. Anyways, guys, I'm going to show you 2 combos, and the one's going to be the Swordsoul route, and the other's going to be the DD route. So I'll show you the DD route first, and then I'll jump into the Swordsoul route. So yeah, I'll see you at combo number 1. Okay, guys, so what I'm going to show you here is, so this is the DDD style combo. The one that just goes like the normal route. Now what I'm showing you is like the 4-card, it's fully beneficial off a 4-card combo, right? And the reason why this deck doesn't really have a struggle getting to it is because the whole deck tries to get to this, right? Like you're basically shaping your hand to get into something like this. That's why it's not really, oh man, 4-card combo. Like it literally happens like 8 to 9 times out of 10 when you're playing this deck, because that's all the deck it tries to do, right? So so let's get into it here. It's going to be any combination of like these 3, Necro Slime or Copernicus can be one of these 2, and then like Gates just searching the missing piece, right? So we're going to go effect of Gate to start it out, right? And I'm going to fan out the hand here. So Gate's going to use the effect to search out the, what do we have, Lamia. Okay, so we're going to search Europrint Necro Slime. Now we're going to go Swirl Slime effect here. Swirl Slime, and you use the Griffin, right? Griffin always is the card you want in Grave. You don't use it for its other effects unless you want to trigger some stuff later on in the game, which can come up. You're going to summon the Genghis. Doesn't really matter where you put it, to be honest. You could put it in like a zone just in case for Cross Sheep, but it doesn't matter, to be honest. Banish Swirl Slime to special from hand. You're going to special the Lamia or the Necro Slime, doesn't matter. You're going to trigger the Genghis. Target special summon the Griffin. Griffin uses the effect to add the trap. So you're going to add the Headhunt, right? So this is why like this deck got a bit of a boost, because you're doing the same thing essentially, but now it's either like if you didn't have like Necro Slime, you had like a 3-card combo, Griffin's just going to add you the Necro Slime, and then you just go from there. And if that were to be the case, you would just go for the Swordsoul combo, and I'll get into that after I do this, but for now I'm just going to stick to this. So you're going to normal summon, and now when you're playing the Synchro, the thing that you want is 4 bodies. You want your level 6, you want the Tuner, and you want this is ideal, right? You want Necrosime and Grave. These two make a Cross Sheep. These two make the Alexander. So first you're going to go Alexander because this is your 5th summon. The reason why you do it on the 5th summon is because if they nib you for whatever reason here, which I've had like very bad players just nib me here out of curiosity. I don't know why. You're just bad. Honestly, you are a bad player if you're going to nib someone here. I'm sorry, but just going to throw that out there. So it does happen. So when this does hit Grave, you already have access to Alexander. So by the time you fusion summon, you bring this back, you're literally just going full combo. So yeah, you're going to link these two, right? Yeah, link. You're going to go to Cross Sheep. And you're going to go to Cross Sheep on your 6th summon. You're going to go Necroslime here. Necroslime's going to use the Genghis. Now, you don't play the rank 6, so you don't care about banishing a Genghis. I mean, I guess you kind of do, but you know how it is. So we're going to summon the High King Genghis here. This now triggers the Alexander. So you're not triggering Cross Sheep, you're triggering Alexander. Target spell summon the Lamia. And your response here, this is where they're going to nib you. But again, the good thing is they're not going to... A lot of players are going to be kind of thrown off and just not know where to nib you, right? So they might be like, what's he doing here? Remember the fact Crystal Wing is not popular right now. So a lot of people might not even think of Crystal Wing coming here, right? So they'll probably nib you if they're if they're a good player, right? But I mean, a lot of players, like I said, you're going to be throwing them off playing the Synchro variant. So you're going to go ahead, summon the Crystal Wing. Literally no one's playing Lightning Storm right now, so just don't worry about putting your cards in defense. This triggers Cross Sheep. It gets both the effects because since a synchro card and a fusion is pointing to it while a card was special summoned, both effects resolve. Summons Lamia. The Lamia now triggers to summon the Genghis, brings back the Alexander. You're gonna go these two. You're gonna go for Hulk effects. Yeah, I don't have ulti Hulk anymore, so I did have 3 ulti Hulks. And I one of them was actually traded for this mat. And the other 2 I sold because I got rid of them when they were at 150 US. That's like a no-brainer. I mean, I was like, why wouldn't I sell these right now? So yeah, honestly, after playing the dual overload Hulk, actually looks honestly more. I actually like this more. I think it just looks cleaner, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. So you're gonna summon Ghost here, right? So now what you do here is you go Ghost, and you're gonna use Ghost and Genghis here to make the level 10. So you're going to make Chen Yang here. And you're going to now trigger the Ghost. So the reason why you're doing this first is because you're trying to use Lamia effect at some point, right? Lamia gets banished when you do that. So you're going to use Ghost to get follow-up for the Lamia on next turn. Now you're going to use Lamia's effect to get rid of your follow-up. To get rid of that. You're probably, honestly, with the amount of the deck draws, you're probably going to have another card to send other than the gate. It's like 50-50, right? I'd say like maybe like once out of like every 4 times, I'd say like you have to send the gate. But other than that, you usually have like a spare piece to get rid of. Now you're going to use these 2. And you're going to go for Siegfried. And you're going to set the Headhunt, right? So you're going to set Headhunt. And I'm just going to flip it up here. So yeah, this is your end board. So what's crazy about this is that even if they really will, the boost that we got is that we can actually at least have a really strong form of protection. And Headhunt is crazy on its own. Like, Headhunt is just nuts on its own. Like, literally anything can happen to you and you can Headhunt them. And it's like, if they drop it to you for 3 right now, it's like, okay, Headhunt, take your card. And then they still got to find a way to get over all these cards while you have follow-up. You know what I mean? So it's like, what are they going to do, right? So they have to deal with Spell and Trap negation, the Monster negation, Headhunt, and then Hulk. When Hulk tags out, right, when you trigger the Hulk to banish and you summon the Formula, you now go Formula, and then Chenying also changed because this was banished. So even if it's banished for cost, you now trigger Chenying to banish on your opponent's side. Then you use Formula, turn these into Baron, and then you just go from there. It's actually crazy. And if you haven't used Headhunt yet, obviously you just get rid of the Crystal Wing and go from there. But yeah, so that's your combo there. It's basically the old combo, but you have Headhunt now. That's what makes it kind of cool. Now, the interesting combo is going to be the Swordsoul one, and I'm going to show you that right now. So yeah, I think you guys got enough from that. Let's jump right into the Swordsoul combo. See you in combo number 2. Okay, guys. So this is going to be the Swordsoul combo. Now, this is just a 3-card combo. It's 3-4-card combo, really. Depends what you draw. The thing I didn't mention when I last had that combo is that if you hard open a Blackout and you have that, I think it's kind of obvious, right? But what you can do if you open the hard open, this is why Blackout's really nice to open, is that 1, you don't have to search it, right? But 2, if you have the DD combo, it's blackout on top of all that, right? Because you end on the Chen Yang, right? So the blackout, either the blackout or the you're gonna want the blackout to trigger, right? But it doesn't matter because Chen Yang's not once per turn to banish a card and protect itself. So it's just crazy when you open this card. That's why it's really good. You could actually play this at 2 if you want, but I mean, when you're going second, what you want to see that card going second? Not really, right? So especially when you're not playing a Swordsoul card or a Swordsoul deck, right? But if you want to like go all out attacks for like combo purposes, that's how you're feeling. Go ahead and play 2. Like I said, it's just casual, right? So yeah, so this is gonna be 3 again. This can be in tandem of like your Lamia or whatever, right? It doesn't matter because you're just gonna search out the other missing piece. Kepler is going to use the effect search. Yeah, I have gate on top. Okay, cool. So I have gate here. Gate effect search. Nice. I have Lamia here too. So gate's going to grab the Lamia. We're going to go Swirl Summon effect. We're going to fusion summon here. We're going to go for High King Genghis. We're going to go, or sorry, Flame King Genghis. Banish to special summon the Lamia. Effect trigger special. So now, again, ideally, we have our fusion, our Synchro Summon. Our 4 bodies are going to give us our Synchro Summon to level 7, and our link fodder for Cross Sheep. And ideally, we want Necro Slime because that gets our plays going, right? So what we're going to do here, again, summon number 5. We always want it to be the, what's his name? This, because if they're not the brightest of people, they're going to nib us here. If they ever nib you here, and I've had it happen twice to against some bad players, it's literally a free win. Like, it's just so bad when they do that. But yeah, because you just go full combo still. Link summon using these 2. Go into the Cross Sheep. Or sorry, I actually just did something wrong here. So let's just rewind a bit. I'm thinking about a different combo here. So Cross Sheep come back, this come back, this come back, this come back, and what else was out? Oh yeah, the Kepler. So rewind. Okay, cool. So this is our board again. I was just too in depth of explaining something here. So first, again, we're gonna go. So replay. We're gonna go Synchro Summon here. And we're gonna go for the Synchro Summon first. Again, we're gonna go Yazi. So we're gonna summon Yazi in the far pointer or here, whichever one's free. But you want it in the pointer of Cross Sheep just in case, because it can also boost when you trigger Cross Sheep. Like I said, you're not going for Alexander, which comes back out and stuff. The Yazi doesn't get revived, right? So we're gonna summon Cross Sheep here. Cross Sheep is now pointed to the Yazi. Necro Slime effect, fusion summons with the Flame King Genghis. You're gonna go ahead and you're gonna summon High King. The summon of High King is now gonna trigger Cross Sheep. Target special summon the Lamia. Whoops, not face down defense. You're gonna special summon the Lamia, right? So this summon now, yeah, triggers Cross Sheep, right? We haven't used High King yet. I'm gonna go for these, go into a Hulk effect, summons from deck. We're gonna summon the Ghost. And this now triggers the Genghis here, revives the Lamia. So the reason why we didn't go right into the Crystal Wing is because we'd have to give up the gate. If you're really scared of nib and they don't nib you there, just go for the Lamia, or just go for the Crystal Wing, or sorry, just go for not Crystal Wing, sorry, the Chen Yang, just in case. But it's completely up to you. Like, I mean, I don't know what's really gonna do if you go to Chen Yang because you're just gonna have a dead blackout. But yeah, you're not trying to play around. This doesn't play around nib, right? Unless you have an extender. Now if you do have an extender, you can just scale the Ragnarok and this comes back out because you're not using Lamia yet, right? So yeah, but you're always playing into nib, right? So here's the cards here. The reason why you summon this because this makes level 10, this makes the Shishao. So you got a worm and a tuner. Make Shishao. You're gonna make Shishao, and then you use the effective Shishao. You're going to add. Oh, that's the wrong trap. You're gonna add the blackout, right? So you're gonna add blackout, and then you're gonna use these 2, and you're gonna go ahead and summon the Chen Yang. So you're gonna summon Chen Yang, doesn't matter where. You're gonna trigger Ghost Effect now. Ghost Effect's gonna send the Lamia. So you have 2 Lamias for follow-up, which is really nice. And you have the Ghost in there as well with Gate for follow-up. You set the blackout, and it becomes Swordsoul, right? So Swordsoul is essentially this. They have hand traps. You essentially have hand traps, right? And then they have the blackout, right? That's typical Swordsoul. Now the blackout with the Chen Yang is just amazing. Like I said, they have great interaction, these cards. But you can also go Hulk, right? Also go Hulk, go into the formula. Formula gives you 1 draw, whatever it is, I guess the Kepler. And then blackout is also another interruption. And then these 2, it's basically like becomes what's it called on crack? So Baron. So of course you're gonna try to burn the Shisha before you go into Baron. And then it's basically, so 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, 4 interruptions essentially with follow-up, right? So it's pretty good. So yeah, that's all the combos I wanted to show for you guys. I think the Synchro, the Swordsoul version of it's kind of cool. It actually works really well. It doesn't do anything to the main deck, like I said. The Blackout is a great addition because, like I said, you can naturally go into the Chenying if you really need. So hard drawing the Blackout, like I said, you just go the original DD combo and it's Blackout on top of it. It's actually crazy. So yeah, guys, that is the deck profile for today. That is the combos I wanted to show you. I think quite a few of you that have been around for a while were looking for me to do a Synchro because that's like the roots, right, of the deck. From what you guys know me from the standpoint, but and that's where I learned it, right, was like the Synchro and how the deck evolved over time. So yeah, guys, I hope you like that deck profile. I'm just gonna wrap it up here and just go to bed, you know what I mean, but it's a little bit late now. So yeah, so again, on this beautiful playmat, very good deck profile, I'd say. And yeah, I hope you guys like it, and I will see you in the next video, whatever that video is going to be. All right, peace.